SwiftUI gives us two environment keys for working with our app's size classes, which in practice means we can have one layout when space is plentiful and another when space is restricted. For example, right now in our resort view, we're laying out the two pieces of details, these two views here, in a single H-stack like this, and each of those views are grouped internally with a group view. There's a group here in ski details view, another one in resort details view. As a result, we're going to end up with a single H-stack with 4 items across the way, as you can see here right now. They're in a H-stack, the group conveys no extra additional layout information, and so they just go across the way like this. Now, this looks great when we have lots of space. I think it fits really well right now. But when space is limited, it'd be great to switch to a sort of 2x2 grid layout. 1, 1, and then 1, 1 like this. And we could do that by creating copies of our current code. Make a wide resort view and a wide ski view and then a thin one and so forth. But that's not great. It's not very flexible or reusable. A much smarter solution is to have these two views remain layout neutral, to use groups at the top level. We don't really care how they're being laid out specifically, but then have them automatically adapt to being placed inside a H-stack or a V-stack, depending on the parent that places them. So the view here, resort view, can decide the layout they want to have. To do this, first you want to add a new environment property to resort view to read the current horizontal size class. So we'll say @environment /dot horizontal size class. And I'll just call this var size class because we're only reading the one here. And this will tell us roughly whether we have how much space we have, right? Regular space or compact space. And again, it's super vague. All iPhones in portrait, including the largest iPhone, have compact size class horizontally here. Most iPhones in landscape still have compact size class, except for the large iPhone. So that's the plus and max size devices, like an iPhone 13 Pro Max, for example. They have a regular size class in landscape. And then on iPad, it's even fuzzier because they have both orientations. They have different iPad sizes, different split screen and slide over. But if your app is full screen in landscape, it's going to be regular like that. So again, it's complicated on iPad, but on iPhone here, it's straightforward at least. Anyway, fortunately, all we really care about are the two horizontal options. Do we have lots of horizontal space? We're a regular size class, or is space horizontally restricted? We're in a compact size class. And if that happens, then we'll say, okay, we're in a compact size class. Don't try and lay things out horizontally like this. Instead, have size large and price $, one above the other. Then to the side, elevation and snow. So we have a V-stack there inside our H-stack. So you want to find this H-stack here when we have our current views and say inside the H-stack, if the size class currently is compact, then do stuff. Otherwise, do what we have right now. Like that. Now, in terms of what we do inside here, it's also straightforward. Copy and paste what you have right now and put around both these things a V-stack with spacing of 10, and then that same view we had before, like so. So a single item V-stack, but that's okay, because inside that thing is a group, and the group will adapt automatically. So now let's see how that looks. So I'll press resume with that preview, and I've got here a iPhone 13 Pro in portrait. You can see how it looks right now. So it's got this 2x2 grid mode. And let's give a quick experiment here. I'll launch the simulator for iPhone 13 Pro and choose Squaw Valley. And you'll see here it's in compact horizontal size class. And in landscape, it will still be compact horizontal size class. It's a 13 Pro, not a Pro Max. In contrast, if you choose the Pro Max, and remember, it's Pro Max, but also plus size devices. So if like iPhone 8 Plus, for example, whatever, any of the Max or plus size devices, those are the ones in landscape that have that extra regular size class. So you've got to watch out for those two particularly. The same with the slide over in the view here. Anyway, I'll go ahead and go to landscape. We get the different layout now because we're on a different device. I'll bring over my little split view thing, choose Squaw Valley again. And now you're going to see all 4 laid out horizontally. Whereas if I'd gone back to portrait mode, now it's going to do a 2x2 layout. Is it perfect? No. I mean, yeah, it's obviously works fractionally better in compact layouts, particularly for things like iPhone SE, which is a very small device. And the main difference for users here is that they can, of course, adjust the dynamic type settings. They can say, I want to have a extra large font or an extra large font or whatever, and our fonts will scale up neatly without running out of space too badly. But when we're on the default size, even on a regular iPhone 13 Pro here, on a regular default size, we have a stack of space here. So the very, very broad, approach that dynamic type is taking for us, that size class is taking for us, isn't enough here. Compact and regular isn't enough to decide this. There's just too much space if we say compact is the key. To make this better, we can actually add a second check to read the user's dynamic type setting and say, actually, let's stick with a horizontal layout, that sort of flat single H-stack thing, unless space is really tight. By which I mean I'm in a compact size class, not a lot of space, and the user's asked for large text, in which case we'll switch to this new layout. And so, add a second environment key up here as a property, at environment /dot dynamic type size. And I'll call this just type size down here. And now our condition becomes, are we in a compact size class, but also is our type size greater than large? Now there are lots of options here. You can sort of see them briefly. There is, if I do it again, come on, Xcode, you can give me them. L, there we go. So there's small and large and medium and so forth. Extra small, and there's also, if you look, XX large and XXX large, and then there's more than that. If you look at accessibility stuff, these get bigger and bigger and bigger up to, very, very large fonts indeed. We're going to say, do they have more than a large font? So extra large, extra large, extra large, and those accessibility numbers are the even bigger ones. So only then, when we're really tight on space, we go to a 2x2 layout. So if I preview here, we should see a regular flat H-stack all being well, if we're lucky, or not. I'll press Command-R to build and run the code, and it should work better all being well. Let's find out. Oh, that's a Pro Max, sorry, I want the Pro. Pro. Let's try that again. So we're iPhone 13 Pro now, and I'll choose Squaw Valley. And there we go, long and flat, as you'd expect. But if I was, back here, and actually I want to bump up my font size, let's have a look at the thing on the left here. If I bring up my font size upwards, let's say I want to go to XXL now. So I go to Squaw Valley again, we're going to see a 2x2 layout. And so it's adapting based on the exact size class we're in, which could be the iPhone plus orientation or iPad orientation size slide over status, but also the type status as well. Are we asking for a very large font? So now our design looks better, I think. It's a good compromise between staying legible without getting too cramped on the screen. It took a little work, we got there in the end. Now, our solution, importantly, did not result in code duplication. We're still having the same result details view and ski details view and so forth. They haven't changed. And so we can go ahead and, modify that view once and apply absolutely everywhere, add colors or icons or who knows what, without having to duplicate code again and again and again, which is really, really nice. And it's all possible because those two views use a group. That transparent layout power it has, let the parent figure out if it's a V-stack or a H-stack or whatever. I don't want to care. And it's really nice here. Now, before we're done, I want to show you one extra little technique here, which is really useful. You can actually limit the range of dynamic type if you need to. For a particular view or for all your views, it's down to you. For example, you might have worked really, really hard to make your views as flexible as possible from really small type up to very large type, but you couldn't handle the last 2 or 3 or 4, perhaps the very, very largest fonts. You couldn't quite make that work in your design, and that's fine. Right? You've done your best. You've tried really hard. That's what matters here. In this situation, you can say, actually, this whole H stack here, for example, this is going to have a dynamic type size of ... dynamic type size, dot, let's do XXX large, for example. And this is a one-sided range. We're saying there's nothing before that, so all the extra small whatever sizes, they're all supported, but go up to and including 3XL, extra large, but no further. Don't support the extra, and so forth, large sizes, which do exist. There's, like I said, there's 5 extra ones after that that are super big. And obviously, it's best to avoid this. If you can make your app as flexible as you can be, it's a very, very good idea. But it's not a problem when used judiciously. Apple do it. Like navigation views, title, the tab views, text, they have specific sizes they support. They don't go beyond that. Otherwise, your UI would just break very easily. So do your best to support what you can, but don't be afraid, if you absolutely must, to cap the flexible sizing.